Hi everybody, Broken Eves here and welcome to today's video. This video has been requested by an awful lot of you, so I hope you all enjoy it. So you're looking at a bare base install of Zorinos 17.1 on my second gaming machine. This is going to get confusing for you. So the main gaming machine has got Zorinos Lite on it. The e-waste PC has got CachyOS on it. This is the other idle PC that was doing nothing, which is the gaming PC. I've popped the nVidia RTX 3050 graphics card in here. It has 24 gig of RAM and an AMD Ryzen 5 1600AF 6-core 12-thread processor. So there you go. So that's all three PCs. Two have got Zorin on, one have got CachyOS on. Okay, so let's get into it. What's the first thing I do after a fresh new install? Well, you may want to do this, you may want to ignore it. The first thing I do is go to my network settings and I click on the little cog here and it says all these options I ignore and just go straight to IPv4. And I change it off of automatic and automatic to manual. I put my own fixed internal IP address in, and then I add my own DNS servers, both of which are Cloudflare. I always put the secured one first, 1.0.0.1, and then the 1.1.1.1, which is the public server. The public server, you could argue, is faster. But the 1.0.0.1 is a little more secure. The thing is, Cloudflare a little bit naughty. If you add these DNSs, it will bypass automatically any rules that your ISP provider has put on you. So for argument's sake, if you're watching a dodgy video site and you just have everything set to automatic, you go to your web browser, try and load the site up, it's blocked. If you do it like this, it'll bypass all that, no need for VPNs or anything else because of the naughty way that Cloudflare work. But nevertheless, it works for me. So that's the absolute first thing that I do. The next thing I do is a full system update. Excuse me. So if you click on your software updater, now I've already installed all the updates, so this should be bang up to date. But the software updater in Zorin, if you left click on settings and go to the last tab, additional drivers, this is where you can install any relevant drivers that you want for your graphics card. I'm using the standard 535 drivers here, 560 on Cachy, but as we're not on Cachy, you can also use the Nouveau display driver as well. Okay, so make sure you run and install all your updates. The software update notifier will give you a little orange circle and a notification up the top here, just here, should you have updates. So always keep your computer secure and up to date. Okay, so with all that out the way, the next thing that I do is press Ctrl-Alt-T to open the terminal. Sorry, this is really slow, I don't know why. Shouldn't be slow. But it is running off HDD, not SSD. It's probably under utilities, isn't it? Yep, there it is. Alright, so perhaps Ctrl-Alt-T is not mapped. The next thing that I do is enter the command sudo sudo space UFW space enable ENABLE and press enter. Pop your system password in, and that will always make sure that your firewall is enabled and active on system startup. Now with Zorin, you can also go to your settings tab and there's a little firewall configuration box here. This will open up GUFW, which is exactly the same program but with a GUI interface. There you go. Now you can see that we've got the standard set of rules, so we deny incoming, allow outgoing, it's switched on, and the profile is home. Okay, so always make sure that when you set a brand new installation up, that you do the networking bits, the firewall, and run the updates. Once that's all done, you're good to go to start bastardizing it exactly how you want it. Now, Zorin's a little bit different from most other distributions in that we have the Zorin appearance. So let's go to the Zorin appearance. What sort of layout do we want? Well, I'm happy with this standard layout. You can also choose one of the other gnomish type layouts. Whatever floats your boat, really. There you go. But I actually prefer this layout. If you then go to theme, well, I'm happy with the blue accent colour, but I do like it dark. So I'm going to change it to the dark. Go to effects, enable animations, enable jelly mode. Hello? Hello? Well, that's a bit weird. I don't want the desktop cube and I don't want the spatial window switcher. Go to interface. Yeah, I want the buttons on the right. Left super key is activities overview, advanced window tiling with settings. I don't want that. And taskbar settings. Let's have a look at the taskbar settings. Oh, here we go. Now this is nice. So we can have panel IntelliHide. Yes, we want it to intelligently hide. What options do we get? Floating rounded theme. Yes, please. I'll have it floated. That means it's not docked right at the bottom. Panel hides from focus windows. Yeah. Require pressure at edge of screen to note. Allow the panel to be revealed while in full screen. No. So that's all good. Position. We want it at the bottom. You can see our panel is now dark and translucent, but I like it floating in the middle personally. So I'm going to make it 50%. There we go. Panel thickness is currently on 48. Again, this is a personal preference. You set these to whatever you like. And we want it in the center. And we can, customize everything here till our heart's content. We can make the panel a bit bigger to reveal everything so we don't run out of space for running apps. Behavior, show favorite applications, blah, blah, blah. You can run through all of these yourself and set it to how you personally like it. Action, click action, cycle windows and minimize, scroll action, cycle windows, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. That looks fabulous. Then on desktop, icons on the desktop, never for me personally. Well, it's having a bit of a whap, isn't it? And last but not least, the fonts. We'll leave the fonts as they are default, but again, you can change them to your heart's content. Okay, so straight away, we've got it looking a lot nicer, in my personal opinion. The next thing I need to do is add a nice wallpaper. Of course, I've already downloaded a couple. I only actually need one. And I'm actually going to go for the same one as I had on CachyOS because I think it's a gorgeous wallpaper. It's the Aston Martin wallpaper. Now, of course, we could mess about with this. We could make the clock settings bigger. We could remove this space here, but it's kind of nice to have it. If you want to activate your multiple desktops, then all you've got to do is click on that little icon there, and it will give you your virtual desktops. Very, very nice indeed. And that in a nutshell, is how you make Zorinos look absolutely gorgeous. What's the next thing I need to do? Well, the next thing I need to do is download some software. So I'm going to download a few apps, if I can spell. Oh, come on, give me a break. Sucks to be me. Now, if you're using Zorinos, do be very, very careful about installing your software, because it will recommend FlatHub snaps all sorts of stuff by default. If you click on this little down arrow here, it then gives you the option from whence you want to install it. I want it installed locally from the local repositories, so I just change that to Zorin, pop my system password in, press enter, and then it says here, look, Zorinos, so I know I'm getting repository software installed. Now I am running off an HDD, albeit a 72 spin speed, so that's probably why it's a little bit slower than usual. But I did fancy having an experience that a lot of you have when you're running Linux operating systems. So I decided that I would go and use an HDD as opposed to SSD. There we go. Text. Well, customs font. It's currently on monospace 12. I like it a bit bigger because I'm blind. So 14 is fine for me. There we go. And there we go. And there's our terminal. Now, I'm assuming NeoFetch isn't installed. No. So if we do a sudo apt install NeoFetch, even though it's discontinued, it's still nice. Pop the system password in. It might complain because I've got the other installer open, installing software. No, it's going to let me do it. So already this is looking gorgeous. Now with this panel here, do I really need that pinned? No. Do I really need that pinned? No. So now we could go into the Zorin appearance. I think it's under, no, it's not desktop, is it? It's not layout. It's not theme. Yes, I do want the jelly mode on, thank you. Interface, desktop. Okay, maybe I'm a bit of a numbnut. What's another? Not a lot. Not a lot. I think we can right click on the taskbar, go to taskbar settings. There we go. Position, there we go. And now we can make it the 50% that I wanted. We can up it to, I think I had it on 56, if I remember right, on Cachy. Yeah, and that will do nicely. There we go. And of course you can position that top, bottom, left, right, any place that you want really. So because I've got a lot of apps open, normally that will be plenty big enough. I could put extra spaces in, but I'm going to leave it as it is because for the majority of the time that will work beautiful. So if we now type in NeoFetch, that should be installed. There we go. And that's what we're running and packing, people. So you can see we've got a Ryzen 5 1600. Doesn't tell us what the nVidia GPU is, but it is a RTX 3050, and we've got 24 gigs of RAM. That's interesting. nVidia 6 Corporation. That's all it says. Maybe the nVidia card's a bit too new for it. I wouldn't have thought so. So that's our GIMP installed. The next thing that I want to install is OBS, and again, be very careful when you're installing software because it's easy to miss this little drop down box here. So again, I'm going to go to the Zorin and just install it from Zorin because I want actual software, not flat hubs, not flat packs, not snaps, not app images. I don't want everything sandboxed and contained within. I just want straight repository software running off this HDD. So just while we wait for that, you see now we've got the, I know it from years ago as the magic lamp effect. They call it jelly, but actually it's, I'm sure it used to be called magic lamp. Now you could have a desktop cube on here if you wanted. Now already our operating system looks a million miles away to when we started. And by design it's very functional and beautiful and exactly what I want in my eyes. You might think it's really ugly, you might think it's non-functional, and that's absolutely fine. But as I say, I just thought I'd share with you how I set all my OSs up right out the box from you know, absolutely no customization to me finished. I don't go deep into customization. I like Zorin OS because it makes complex customization quite easy in that it's, you know, just button clicking and everything works beautifully. There you go. I mean, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? It really is. Why that's not showing, I shouldn't really worry about it, should I? But I'm just wondering actually if the card is too new for this operating system. It doesn't tell me what the nVidia card is, does it? Graphics information, but nowhere does it mention what the card is. How weird. OBS Studio is now finished. Good. Power Miser Auto, we prefer maximum, thank you. Thermal settings, it's currently running at 43 degrees. It's interesting that it doesn't tell you anywhere what the graphics is, what the graphics card is. I'm sure it usually tells you what the graphics card is. But as I say, this is the first time I've used this 3050 Ti on Linux, so whatever. As long as it's operational, do we really care? Probably not. So we've got GIMP, we've got OBS. The next thing we want to install is, of course, Steam. Steam installer. And that's the one, Zorin OS. That's good. So we can install that. So we can play our games. And I also need to bring down a couple of other bits and pieces as well for this PC. And it should be absolutely fine. It's looking fantastic already. It pretty much mirrors CachyOS, doesn't it? But CachyOS has got a blue tint on it, whereas this more jet black. I don't think override theme background opacity. There we go. Now we can make the panel much more transparent, which is really nice. And you can play around with all these settings to your heart's content. But if only Microsoft Windows was this customizable and personalizable out the box. Of course it's not. There's not a Windows fanboy on the planet that will post a comment underneath this video. because unfortunately their Windows is exactly the same as everybody else's Windows on the planet, unless of course they've got the wallet out and bought things like Rainmeter and God knows what. Well, on Linux, big boy, we get it all for free. We'll just let the Steam installer run. As I say, it is on HDD, so if you right click your Zorin button and left click system monitor, it'll always bring up your system monitor for you. Oh, we've got wobbly windows as well, very nice. Not only have we got the magic lamp, we've got the wobbly windows. There we go. As you can see, I'm using no swap. I'm using 2.4 gig of 20. Well, it's 24 gig actually. Where it's got 25 gig from, I've no idea. It's 16 gig plus 8 gig, which in my reckoning comes to 24 gig. 6 core, 12 threads. So we've got 6 cores and 12 threads, which is a huge upgrade on the eWaste PC, which is just a base quad core machine. Okay, so that's that one done. So now we need to install Lutris. The other thing I really like about Zorin is it comes with Wine pre-installed right out of the box. So there's our Lutris. Again, it wants to do as a flat hub. No thank you. We'll have it right out the Zorin OS. Thank you very much. There we go. Which is nice. So yeah, the Zorin, it comes with Wine pre-installed out the box. Or am I imagining it? No. There we go. Windows app support. Install Windows app support. Okay. Well, maybe we'll have to do that. I thought it came with Wine pre-installed out the box. Maybe it does not, but at least they do give you an icon to click to install it. So we'll stick that in shortly. Why not? Got to love a bit of Wine. It's perfect for modding and running Windows apps, etc. They call it Windows app support. It's actually Wine. So I've got one more piece of software that I need to install after this. Then we need to install Wine, Windows App Support, and we're good to go. We can do a reboot and our PC is set up. No need to install anything else. I'm pretty much done. So it's a nice, super light, visually gorgeous operating system. 100% free of charge, 100% yours, unlike other operating systems I could mention. And it's 100% customizable to how you want it to look, feel and behave. And I think you'd agree that that looks absolutely stunning. It looks stunning on my desktop. I don't know what it'll look like on your recorded video because I'm using simple screen. I do like to change it up now and again. I don't like to use OBS all the while. So that's all still installing. So I'll go ahead and install the rest of the software that I need to install. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it gives you some tips and information that you can use when you're installing and setting up your operating system on your computers. Thanks so much for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Thumb the videos up if you loved it, down if you hated it. I will see you for another wicked Broken Ebeez video.